Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the F-84G-31-RE. This is a currently 7.7 PR Rank 5 premium strike aircraft in the Chinese Air Force's tech tree. This vehicle currently costs 8,380 Golden Eagles when not on sale, and comes with 15 backups. With that said, in this video, I'll be going over everything that you need to know about this strike aircraft, including its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses. I'll give it some scores in several key areas, and then I'll give my final recommendation and if I feel this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. With that said, if you like this kind of video, please consider subscribing, but without further ado, let's get into it. Now to start, I'll place a stat card here on the side of the screen. Important things to note are its armament, its top speed, and its rate of climb. Now for how it plays. As well as being functionally indistinguishable from the tech tree F-84G-31-RE, it's your typical 7 to 8.0 BR strike aircraft. It has decent but not amazing loadout options that are good for base destruction, but the performance isn't good enough for you to make it back alive after you drop your bombs. Simply put, the F-84G-31-RE is pretty similar to all early jet aircraft in War Thunder. While it has a decent rate of climb, top speed, and even decent maneuverability despite what the stat card says, it's on a very even playing field compared to its peers, at least in a down tier. In an up tier, it'll get eaten alive, though this can be largely said about all aircraft from its era. Descriptions aside, this vehicle is typically only going to be competitive if you forego usage of any bombs in the beginning of a match, and instead take advantage of its air spawn to climb up high, shoot down bombers, and then boom and zoom versus lower altitude aircraft. There isn't anything outstanding about this vehicle that allows you to do this better than any other aircraft, but the air spawn is the key feature that will allow you to be successful in this role. The fact that you have 650 cal HMGs isn't very good either, as they aren't very powerful, and the G31RE isn't as agile as a dedicated fighter to keep your shots on target consistently. Otherwise, the G31RE is only slightly good in terms of performance and somewhat mediocre in terms of armament, which ultimately balances out, at least in my experience. Again, you can use bombs, which I feel like most people will do, but I really wouldn't recommend it, as everyone is always looking to get the first kill of a match against some dude in a strike aircraft that's flying low and flying slow. For close air support, it's largely the same story. This vehicle has a decent loadout, but nothing amazing. It can carry up to 2 1,000-pound bombs or Tiny Tim rockets alongside 24 HFARs. That's pretty much the maximum loadout possible. It isn't bad, and it is just decent or slightly above average. Even your primary armament of 650 cal HMGs is just meh. It can't really destroy anything outside of tank tracks and the odd SPAA. The problem is that so many aircraft at and around this BR are so similar that the defining factor that makes this a strike aircraft, as opposed to a P-80A5, is the fact that it can carry more HFARs. Versus the F-80C-10, however, and you have a fighter that's arguably even better in terms of its loadout than the dedicated strike aircraft in the F-84G. But that aside, that's pretty much the big difference. But that's how so many first-generation jets were, so it's somewhat forgivable, at least in this instance. It just sucks that HFARs aren't very good, as you have so many of them. Either way, you at least have bombs and rockets that fire one by one rather than simultaneously, which isn't something that all planes have at this BR, and can be useful in ground RB when trying to maximize your loadout. Now with that said, let's get into its strengths and weaknesses, and first for its strengths. This vehicle features an air spawn in air RB. Second, it has a fairly decent ground attack loadout, but definitely isn't amazing or even great. Third, it has a surprisingly decent top speed and acceleration. For its fourth strength, the maneuverability is much better than what the stat card says, and can keep up with or possibly even beat planes in a down tier. Versus MiGs and Sabres, not so much, but it'll still put up a fight in the hands of a decent pilot. For its fifth strength, it has good energy retention in turns. And finally, it has premium RP and SL bonuses. Now for its weaknesses. While they have tons of ammunition, the 50 cal HMGs are weak at this BR. Second, the F-84 is fairly large compared to other aircraft, thus making it an easy target. For its third weakness, this vehicle is somewhat below average roll rate for this BR. Fourth, the wingtip fuel tanks are easy to hit and destroy or even set on fire. And finally, while the F-84 can carry plenty of them, HFARs are not effective at this BR outside of a random but very dangerous SPAA hit, because if you're close enough at this BR to hit an SPAA with an HFAR, he probably knows you're there and is going to shoot you down. Now with that said, let's get into how I score this vehicle. And first for air ARB and dogfighting, I give it a 5 out of 10. Simply put, this vehicle isn't bad, but it isn't all that good. It's just average in most cases. While it is surprisingly quick and somewhat nimble, especially in a down tier, you'll be totally outclassed in up tiers, which is fairly common. Add to this HMGs, of which are becoming much less effective at this BR due to the speed and relative durability of jets, and you have a decent but not very good dogfighter. On the plus side, it can still destroy bases with ease, but you'll be absolutely swarmed by enemies if you do so. If instead you decide to climb and you don't take a payload, then you can make use of your air spawn and fairly good rate of climb to take out enemy bombers surprisingly easily as a makeshift interceptor. If you end up playing like that, I'd probably give this F-84 variant a 5.5 out of 10 in this category. Still not very good, and not the main way that this vehicle was intended to be played. Now for close air support, I give it a 5 out of 10. The G-31-RE is decent in a CAS role, but not all too good or great. Despite being a strike fighter, this vehicle is limited to carrying a maximum loadout of just 2 1,000-pound bombs and 24 largely ineffective HFARs. While you can use 2 Tiny Tims in lieu of bombs, that doesn't really make this aircraft perform any better. It basically has a normal fighter loadout, as most fighters at this BR can only carry 2 1,000-pound bombs, but thankfully the F-84G has the ability to carry 2 Tiny Tims, which is a plus, and a bunch more HFARs. Though they are largely ineffective at this BR, HFARs can still get kills every now and again. With the Tiny Tims included, the G-31-RE has just enough versatility and options that is just about the average of aircraft at this BR, which is disappointing but not unexpected. If you look at the loadout of the F-80C-10, however, of which is a pure fighter, then you might be disappointed in the G-31-RE, as the C-10 has an arguably even better loadout that uses more bombs in lieu of HFARs, but I suppose that's up to preference, as I'm sure there's some crazy people out there that prefer HFARs over standard bombs. Now with that said, overall, I give this vehicle a 5 out of 10. It's decent. Not really good, not really bad, just decent. It's in such a weird spot in War Thunder, as it's an early jet aircraft, which means that pretty much all jets that are of a slightly higher BR are substantially more effective in terms of overall performance and, in general, lethality. You can get kills with this vehicle and be fairly effective in CAS, but it doesn't do anything outstanding. It's okay, but not amazing. I can't complain about it, and didn't have a bad time playing it by any means, but the F-84G-31-RE is just decent in most instances and good in a few matches. There's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't inspire a lot of excitement either. Now, do I recommend the F-84G-31-RE? Not really, no. As stated before, this is a very average aircraft. In down tiers it's good, in up tiers it's bad. Despite being a strike aircraft, it's basically just average in terms of CAS. And that's only because you can carry a bunch of typically useful HFARs, and while also having options for Tiny Tims, which aren't very common at this BR, and some people might like them. Like most vehicles, how you use it will determine your success with it. If you play the G-31-RE as a base attacker in ARB, you'll get eaten alive. If you use it as an interceptor and then a boom and zoomer, especially in down tiers, it can actually be quite good, but that's mainly due to its air spawn, as it has good but not amazing performance, which really doesn't stand out from the pack. If for some reason you need a CAS aircraft at this BR for the Chinese ground tech tree, then this vehicle will be decent and can be purchased, but I'd strongly suggest just buying the A5C instead and grinding out the Chinese air tech tree over a few days. The fact is that the regular tech tree F-84G-21-RE is functionally identical to the G-31-RE, and will do everything all the same but for free. Because of all these things, as well as the fact that the G-31-RE is not unique at all and plays like a premium reskin, again of the regular tech tree version, I can't recommend it for purchase. Sure, it'll get the job done if you really need it, but it's just average in pretty much every single way. And for 8,380 Golden Eagles, I just don't feel like it's worth it. Maybe during a steep sale, sure, but I can't recommend something this meh, or give it my Tankenstein seal of approval. But with that said, thank you for watching. If you don't mind, please let me know what you guys think about this review and of the vehicle in the comments below. Also, if you like this type of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Either way, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.